it started being challenging when we started studying. Coming here and then you see that the sun actually does shine. It's stupid, I know, but
Russian students are also involved in that.
I think that's the thing that shocked me the most. But now I'm starting to see that, yeah, people are fun.
They really liked it a lot.
It's a mission that I have, right? To bring something back to my country.
Hello, my dear friends. This is a podcast, Friendship Without Limits, a project about the life of young foreigners in Russia. We shoot at the National Research Nuclear University MEPhI in Moscow. More than 1,000 international students from all over the world study at MEPhI, who will become the main characters of our project. Together we will know the answer for the question of what exactly Russia attracts foreigners, find out what surprises our country brought them, and discover the wonderful world of other cultures. The podcast Friendship Without Limits is being implemented with the support of the Rosatom State Corporation as the part of the development program until 2030.
Hi, Pascal. It's very nice to see you there. Thanks a lot for coming.
Hello, thank you for inviting me. It's an honor.
So, the very first question that is quite classic for our episode is, how did you know about MEPhI and how did you decide to come to Russia for studies?
So if I'm to be honest, I didn't really know about MEPhI.
Oh.
I didn't know much about Russia. So what happened was, we were just done with high school. So I was in holidays. I was taking SAT exams. I was about to take SAT exams. And then from the results of the national exams back home, they called us to do an exam, which I think now they no longer do. So they called us. I went there just to check if my head was still right at the moment. And so from there, everything just sort of happened, right? So it was in March, the exam, and then in May they called us. They were like, okay, you've passed the exam. Now we're going to start applying. And then I had to decide if I was going to continue with the SATs, basically go study in the US or simply come here. And it was just intriguing coming here, starting something of my own, new experiences, a place I didn't know. Yeah, so the choice was pretty much...
That's quite an interesting story, really.
Yeah, really, yeah.
So how did your parents react to your coming to Russia?
So they were supportive. My parents were supportive as they could get, right? Because we don't know anyone here, right? So it's still that same thing. So they were like, okay, you can go there. If you meet any problem, it's okay. We are here. We're going to deal with it.
Nice.
Yeah, basically like that. But I wouldn't say the same thing for my big brother and all the other people were taking the SATs together. Yeah, they didn't understand why I chose to continue here. And I think my brother is just now starting to understand or starting to accept that I'm here. So yeah, my parents in general, they were supportive.
And what about your friends?
Yeah, my friends, yeah. It's a different story. It's a whole different story. But yeah, at some point you have to accept that it happened and then you just try to cope and move forward. That's what happened.
I see. How was your first experience in Russia? I mean, was it challenging in some cases?
I can't say it was challenging. It started being challenging when we started studying, right? So getting here, it wasn't that different. I had the privilege of traveling a bit, going to other countries, some cold countries. So it wasn't that different from going anywhere, right? But then when I started to think that this is Russia, right? The Russia I had been seeing in films and everything, in movies, right? It was a bit, yeah, it was different in that way, in the sense that I wanted to know if what I had seen, what I had in mind was actually true, right? But in terms of it being complicated or difficult to settle in, really, it wasn't. It wasn't. Yeah, we came. It was still cold. No, it was starting to get cold. I think it was a week away from starting to snow. So that's something. But then coming into the MEPhI environment and everything, it was quite easy. As in, everything was quite cheap as I compare with other universities. Yeah, so dorms were great. I'm going to say food as well, but other than that, there was no issue actually. Yeah, there was no issue.
What surprised you the most when you came here?
I'm going to say this, but it's actually the first time I saw the sun shining here.
Really?
Yeah. So as I said, most of us back home, we have this picture of Russia, right? From
Great
the
cold
movies.
country.
Yes, it's very cold.
Yeah.
The weather is always gray and somber and everything. So coming here and then you see that the sun actually does shine. It's stupid, I know, but yeah, but it was in a way surprising, right? Just from the fact that it was contrary to what I believed in, or what I knew already. Yeah, I think that's the thing that shocked me the most. Yeah.
Let's talk about your country now. I know that Rwanda is known as the smallest countries of African continent, and it's very famous and popular among the tourists because of the nature and of the volcanoes. So what place in your country is, let's say so, the most beautiful for you that you will recommend everyone who comes?
So yeah, first thing, yes, Rwanda is one of the smallest countries in Africa. So we have about, so you didn't know, I came to know that Rwanda is actually smaller than Moscow Oblast.
Really?
Yeah. What places would I recommend? I would start with those that are in the books, right? Yes, for every tourist, there's always an expectation, right? There is, yes, the volcanoes, right? Going to visit the gorillas. There are national parks that we have. I might say one that I've frequently traveled to or through in that sense is Nyungwe National Park. And if you go to the east, you'll find Akagera, which is also, yes, a national park where you can find many animals and everything with that African savanna vibe, right? And yeah, from there are museums. One which is in the most famous, I might say, which is in Huye. It has everything tradition related in Rwanda, right? But then there is also the Genocide Memorial Site, which has the history, the story that the Rwanda stories in that time of the genocide and everything. There are a lot of places. But then if I come from those that are in the book, I might actually recommend living with people. I believe there is a good experience of Rwanda as a country if you get to interact with people, get their traditional foods, go shopping, spend a night in Kigali or anywhere else, and just have a taste of what life is in Rwanda. So that will be my recommendation.
That's a really great advice, because I also think that you can know country the best when you are communicating with people that are living there. Yeah. And if you're talking about people in particular, I also know such fact, you can tell me, is it true or not, that there are living the smallest and the tallest people on the earth. Is it true?
The tallest? No. The tallest,
okay.
No. But from what I hear that there was basically the family of the king, if you can say that. Back then, they were usually tall people, very tall people. Yeah, you can see them in photographs and everything. You can see the missionaries that were there. Yeah, they were very short compared to them. But if you come back to the shortest people, I think they might be associated with the what was known as the Twa people. There might have been short people, right? But calling them the shortest or in the world, it's a very big assumption.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, so we have a full spectrum of people, but now it's less tall people, but then there are also, yeah.
I see now. What languages are spoken in your country?
So this is a fact that surprises many people, but yeah, it's not that surprising. We have only one language. We have one language, as compared to different to countries that are around us. All countries, but Burundi maybe because we kind of share the same roots. So we have only one language. One language that might be. That might have some dialects, given basically considering where they are spoken from, right? So you have the same language in the whole country, but then you can hear people talking differently in towards the north. If you go to the south, you hear some inflections of in the accent. But then the thing is, wherever you go, you can understand each other quite well.
Great. And if we speak about people again, for what occasions people can wear national costume?
So the national costume nowadays they are reserved for let's say big events, right? Or I mean, by national you mean traditional or something like that. I don't know. If it's traditional, yes, they're reserved for events. Maybe during a wedding ceremony, right? Or maybe with the national ballet, or yeah, basically if there's something that actually happened, right? Because they're not actually costumes that you can wear and. Nowadays, and they give you the freedom to do what you're doing freely, right? But with fashion, there's this form of let's say a mixture, right? They're mixing up the traditional costumes and then with modern fashion and everything.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, it's much more accommodating. It's to the extent that it's starting to be worn more often than it was before.
Great. I really like this, let's say so, fashion direction when people take some elements from national costume and bring it to the modern clothes that you can show your identity just wearing your everyday outfit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and as for traditional occasions, what celebrations do you have in your country that that are not celebrated in Russia?
I think we have a few. We don't have a lot. Most of them are celebrated in Russia, right? Or let's say a version of them, basically a similar holiday to yours. We have, like in February, we have a Heroes Day.
In our country, I think it's something like a Victory Day that we have in 9 of...
Yeah, of May. So so you can see it's a bit similar, right?
Yeah.
So Heroes Day, and then we have Independence Day and Liberation Day, which come in July. We have Thanksgiving in August. I think you do have it as well.
No, we don't.
Okay.
In our tradition, we don't.
So we do have Thanksgiving on the first Friday of the month.
Is it something like the American version of Thanksgiving?
It's similar. It's similar, right? but in a way that you come around yearly and then you share what you got from the previous year. It was basically agriculture based. So you go, you have your farm and everything. You cultivate, you grow some crops. You have your cattle or basically other animals. There's some produce that comes from that, and then every once in a year, people had to offer something to the king and everything. So it was in that sense. But nowadays it has shifted a bit because we don't have kings and everything. So it ended up being people coming together and sharing what they got from that agricultural year. Let's call it that. So that also, so you don't have that one. And then we have one holiday that's very crucial, which is basically the period of Kwibuka, which is basically commemoration of the genocide. It is in April, the 7th. So I don't think you do have that. You don't have that one. So that's one I can say we have that you don't have, right? So basically it's from the 7th to the 14th. It's a whole week given specifically to that, right? But then after that week, there is 100 days actually. That week included, there's 100 days, which basically count for the 100 days that the genocide lasted in Rwanda. Other than that, we have just holidays that miss each other, like Easter. I think you have Easter a month after us. We have Christmas on the normal dates, and then you guys, you come with the 7th of January, which is Otherwise, we have similar holidays.
The thing that I like talking about in these podcasts, let's say the most, is food, really, how do you like the Russian food when you came here? And is it really different from the cuisine that you have in your country? And what dishes are your favorite from both?
I haven't really that much had Russian cuisines, right? Not that much, right? Because I have some it's an issue in a way, right? I don't take change quite well, right? Basically, if it comes to food, right? So I am a bit reluctant in trying some new food, right? Sure. But I will have to say that one thing that surprised me and still surprises people back home is when they call, they're like, okay, do you still manage to find this particular food that we had here and everything? I'm like, okay, yeah, really, we do find them. Yeah, really? There are some foods that we can't find, right? But the most part of it, we do find here. It wasn't that different, right? So let's say like foods that we can't find here, it's maybe there is, or there is not, but I haven't found them personally, right? So there's cassava leaves and basically cassava. I don't know if you have them here.
No.
But you have sweet potatoes, you have potatoes, basically everything we had back there, beans, peas, rice, everything is here. Bananas,
so
all the fruits and everything.
Similar products?
Yeah, we do. We do have similar products. Yeah, so that's why it doesn't really, it's not really difficult for us to cope here as Rwandans. Yeah, you find pretty much everything here. And but also the fact that I don't think we have something that we might call our own, a dish that we might call our own in Rwanda. I don't know, maybe there might be, but I just find that same dish in more than one countries, right? So I can't say that we have a particular dish of our own, right? So that plus the fact that we are influenced by the Western cuisine in a way, right? It makes it, you can find everything anywhere you're going. Yeah, you just cope easily.
If we go back to traditional things of the country, does your country have some kind of traditional art or something that is can be, let's say so, identified as a Rwanda art?
So art is involving
everything.
dancing, theater and everything. Again, let's start from the book, right? So what comes to mind to most people when it comes to art in Rwanda is the national ballet, right? There's a very specific dance that we have that's elegant in its way. I might say it's unlike most African countries, right? Because most of them, they're very rhythmic, they're very fast, but we have some a sort of elegance in the dance, right? Which comes with basically it's a whole story that's being told with the dance, right? So there is some places, some points in that dance where it's calm, right? Where the girls dance calmly, where the men come in, where yes, they elevate the mood and everything. It becomes fast. It becomes So it's a blend of many things, right? But that's the most notable art we have in Rwanda, right? But then, other than that, is art in a way of drawings and paintings. It's starting to come with recent designs. I can say, for example, Imigongo. Imigongo. It's a recent design, which is it's not recent, but now it's gaining traction, right? It's basically a combination of white and black. Right? So there's white and black paintings that are in given patterns, and so it's quite well. So if you can see the bracelet I'm wearing.
Oh, so it's from that.
Yeah, it's there are different designs, but basically they are combining black and white colors. Sometimes there's some gray in there or anything like that. Yeah.
I see. That's very beautiful, and it looks very beautiful on your skin.
Thank you very much. And then other than that, we have paintings as well. Paintings of some other notable things we have in Rwanda. Like we have a specific breed. I might say specific to East Africa, right? Which are these cows that have very big horns, right? They're called Inyambo. So you can find drawings of those Inyambo next to some to a girl dancing traditional dance, which they tend to imitate when they're dancing, right? There's that. There's clothing. There is music.
What is special for music there?
I'm going to say the rhythm. Yes, the rhythm. It's a bit specific, right? I'm going to talk about it as a musician myself. So there is what we have as music in general, right? Basically, we can say, how can I put it? Let's say the times, right? So we have normal music you can see in Russia, you can see in any other places of the world, but then there is a given rhythm that's given to it that's a bit unique to us, right? Maybe if you get a chance, you might pass by when we have that national ballet dancing, when we have there's a band here in of students, right?
I wanted to ask you about that.
So we do sing some songs like that. So if you get time, I might pass on the invite when you have that an event, and then you come and experience that rhythm, right? But then we can't forget we are also African, so we adapt. We adapt. So I find that Rwandans have a very let's say good imitation of other things. So we can easily take our own stuff, but then we easily also learn things from elsewhere, and then sometimes we fuse it with our own stuff to make an even better thing.
I see. And if we started talking about the MEPhI ball that was during spring.
Yes.
Yeah, I was also there. I was also participating.
Yeah.
So yeah, I wanted to ask you, what was your impressions of being Pashkov House is really one of the most beautiful buildings in the city center and in Moscow in a whole. So, what were your impressions about being in such place and taking part in the MEPhI Ball and playing music there? Because I remember and I heard a lot of my colleagues, my friends talking about your songs, your participation there, and they were so impressed. They really liked it a lot.
Yeah. So, Futureski Ball, it was an experience. It was a different experience. As I have been saying from the beginning, most things I came to see here were things that I originally saw in movies, right? Mm-hmm. We don't have that in Rwanda, just to be clear, right? So seeing people come around and basically being connected by that music and dance, right? It was something really, mm-hmm. It was something good. As for the band and music, first of all, I will have to shout out to Stereo Play. That's the name of the band. So we are not all Rwandan, just to be clear,
yeah,
right?
I know. Because I remember that there is a student, Joshua.
Yes, Joshua.
Yes, that also takes part in the band.
Yes, he's Zambian, right?
Yeah.
So, that being said, we try to incorporate everything, right? So we try to find a common area, mm-hmm. A common area. So sometimes you do sing some random songs, right? Mm-hmm. And not far from here, we are going to start singing some Zambian songs. If we do get an opportunity, we'll also invite.
Yeah.
You're going home with 3 invitations already. So I don't know.
I really like
that's
it.
Good. That's good in a way. We'll see how many you will manage to. Yeah, but so we're going to start to sing also in Zambian, but then as common area, mm-hmm. we prefer to take songs in English, right? Because it's easier to understand for everyone. And so we take some songs and then we let's say we make covers of them, right? So basically a performance, we will perform them, right? Mm-hmm. So that in itself, and then you just sprinkle in some African salt and then it just goes well. Yeah. So that was a very big honor to the band. I don't think we had an opportunity to actually thank those who prepared it and who invited us, but really, it was really something. It was really something. Very nice, good dancers. Everyone was dressed marvelously, and no, apart from us, we were just a band. We had to fit in, but but everyone else was really dressed elegantly and everything was just very beautiful.
I will tell that to my colleagues with whom we made this ball because, that was really something special. What is the most fun thing about studying there and, what do you like the most in your studying process?
What I like most is going back to music.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I like most, right? Mm-hmm. Because I will not have to mention everything, but that time when you spend being who you are, being genuine to yourself, right? Laughing with people, right? Relaxing a bit. So that's what music is, and to me in this specific instance. So I think that's the funnest thing I have, the most fun thing I enjoy in MEPhI. Mm-hmm. But it does make me sad that I got open to this in what I might consider my last 2 years here. So before I wasn't aware of anything, right? So I was like, okay, I wake up, I go to the university. From there, I go home. Maybe I go to church and everything else. But then that life in MEPhI, I wasn't aware really. Yeah. But now I'm starting to see that, yeah, people are fun. People are fun. Yeah, really. So there's this conception that we have. So studying in MEPhI is hard, right? So as a result, people there are always constantly studying and everything is. So that's what I had before, right? But then now you start to see people having clubs, having some trips, outings, shashliks you do sometimes during summer. I have to add that again. So yeah, you just find a whole different life to MEPhI, right? Yeah. Which is quite pleasing in a way.
Yeah, and also about different groups and different life in MEPhI. I think it's for like last year and a half that we started do it so actively, and I'm really happy to see how it develops in MEPhI. So there are different trips, there are really different celebrations of the national holidays of people from different countries, and that's so nice to see that Russian students are also involved in that, and they take part in all the celebrations, and they want to know about to know more about different countries, and they have real fun. They get real joy from that. Yeah. So thank you actually for that, for bringing different cultures to Russia and the way
we have to share anyway, right? So we are here. We are trying to learn from you guys, and from time to time, if there's something to learn from us as well, you can learn. Why not? I would highly recommend you learn how to have fun as we do have fun.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's quite, yeah.
Yeah, because Russian sadness is our national identity.
Really? I don't think so.
Sometimes.
As I said, I had that perception of Russia before I came here. I didn't know people smiled here. Yeah. I mean, you have one of the best humors I know, right? So you have a very interesting sense of humor, right? So I don't think that's fair to Russians just to say that there's that sadness.
Sometimes.
I will say really, but in winter, you guys know. Yeah. In winter, no, but it's understandable. It's depressing. It's very cold.
We don't have fun.
Exactly. Days are shorter and everything. So yeah, there's really not much to be happy about and smile about. But yeah, other than that, when the sun comes around, it's a whole different story. True. Yeah.
And you're a graduation student now. Almost a graduation student. So I also wanted to ask you, how do you see your life after university, and how do you see your future, and if there is something that you want to bring into your life after graduation?
So, as we had been talking before, I wish after my bachelor's to move on with my master's right away, so that also becomes a milestone that I have achieved, right? And after that, I might start planning different things, maybe things that have to happen, right? So, as in, yeah, you understand, family, jobs, and everything. So, but everything has to be in a given process, right?
Yeah.
So first and foremost, me being here isn't just me as an individual. It's a mission that I have, right? To bring something back to my country, right? Yeah. So with that mission in mind, it means that I have to serve, right? It means that I have to serve. So if I am called to serve, to come back in Rwanda and share what I have before the master's degree, I will do that. If I am required to take a master's, I will do that. If I am required as well to take a PhD, I will do that, right? But everything comes back to why I'm doing this. It's first of all for my country, and then everything else will come there.
And the last part of our episode is having blitz questions. So I will ask you 3 of them, and you can answer with a short word, short sentence, as you wish. So, studying in MEPhI for you is?
How do I express this?
I want to tell musical.
No. It's an adventure. It is an adventure.
Adventure is also a good word.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. As in it has its good points and low points. Yeah, but all in all, if you put everything together, it's something good. Yeah.
If you could name one word for Russia, what it would be?
Surprising. Yes.
Okay.
Surprising.
And please, can you name 3 main qualities of Russian person?
That I won't do in giving one word. I'll have to give some context around that.
Okay.
So, So, Russian people, they're strict with what they do, right? That I get from people I do basically people I look up to. There's this person I met here who was taking music very seriously, right? But then for you, it's always black or white, right? No in between there, right?
Well,
so how things have to be done, it's how they should be done. If not that, it's a completely different thing, right?
Yeah, that's true.
So that's one thing I did notice. It comes from music, it comes to class and everything, right? So you have to do things how they should be done, right? So 1, that's strict. Now, 2, welcoming. I have an aunt, right? She told me she has some Russian friends, right? She told me that even them, she can see that they're very accommodating, right? Like you can't really say something wrong in their language and they judge you. No, I didn't see that, right? Rather they correct you and they tell you, do this next time you do this, right? And then that with together with the fact that you like to learn about people and everything, so that's 2, welcoming, right? Now 3 is going to come as what again? Let's see. Interesting.
Okay, that's
interesting.
also nice.
Yes, interesting. Yeah, I mean, that itself carries the whole meaning. Yeah.
Yeah. Pascal, thank you a lot for coming. We had such beautiful conversation, and I'm really happy to know about your art life, music life in our university.
Yes.
Yeah, and now we know more about our new country, Rwanda. So stay tuned with our next episodes.